Oh, even Major Nelson is tweeting. He's live with the podcast, see? we have a Major Nelson. Oh, there he is. He's on the pad. I see him now.
Good evening,
show us your gloves,
all.
Mike.
Welcome to the Mix Up podcast. I am your host, of course, as always, WandrinDutch, and I'm joined this week with a lovely crew. Of course, we will go through the introductions first and foremost, but hello to everybody in chat. Hello, Too Big. Hello, Muppet. Hello, Paul.
How's it going, chat?
Lazarus. Hello, Decado. Hello, Mr. Joanna Dark. We've got a few new people in here as well, which is absolutely awesome. If I go back up, we had I or Bay. I'm gonna destroy that one. Apologies. A Bay 32. Andrew Culkane. Welcome, brother, and everybody else who's potentially watching but not talking. Hello. Hope everyone is good.
Hello, Desi baby. Awesome Paul AFC. Muppet 1169.
Yes.
Too big.
Good evening, everybody. Hope everyone has an awesome night. Of course, this week we're going to have a nice easy podcast with an awesome chilled panel here. We'll get into our introductions. Of course, Happy King's Day to everybody in the Netherlands. From of course everyone that listens from the Netherlands as well. I hope you've enjoyed your day, any festivities. If you're going out and selling things on the streets, I hope you made a lot of money. You know how it goes. But we will do the introductions first and foremost to the Dutch brethren. Patje, how are you doing today, brother? What you been up to?
What's up, guys? What's up? Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. What's wrong, Finn?
Yeah, you're too loud. You're way louder than Drew.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
So you can hear me good. Yeah, I'm doing good, guys. What I've been up to, nothing much. Spent some time on the market today with Tamara.
Nice.
And bought Call of Duty Black Ops 2. But one thing I noticed is that this is a German version. And I cannot put it back.
Heavily censored.
Boxburger.
Still doesn't matter. I have Black Ops 2 again after all these years because I sold it like 8 years ago or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm happy with purchasing this game again.
Did you download the language package then?
No. I already checked it. Yeah, but it's not there. So.
Okay.
Yeah, man. And yeah, for the rest, just take a rest because I had some busy days at work earlier this week. Played some Fortnite. So yeah, not that much.
Sweet. Awesome stuff. Before we get another introduction going, a shout out to the €5 donation by Airbay. Of course, the Irish contingent is there. You'll be right at home with stuffed Sean there in the chat, or other Irish contingent.
I see the Irish flag. The Irish flag in the chat.
Welcome, brother. Welcome. Thank you for the donation. Much appreciated. Of course, next up, Hertog Vin. How are you doing today, brother? What you been up to? I know you've been at work. You've obviously had work yesterday. You've got up. You've got your day off today for the King's Day. So how are you doing today, brother? What you been up to?
Well, I was sleeping today. Fucking night shifts, but I'm actually good further on. I had a busy week at work, but all good. Nothing out of the normal things.
Yeah.
And I started some fucking awesome game that I Steel Rain was talking about it on Living Split Screen, and I had Back from the Dead coming in chat as well. So I used my reward points to get Godfall on Xbox Series X, the Ultimate Edition.
Yeah.
And man, it's been a while since I've seen a game that beautiful and that addictive with the looting system.
Right.
I'm loving it. I'm really loving it. And I started because it was on sale on the PlayStation Store. Captain Tsubasa, a new champion rising.
Oh.
It was on sale, and I was looking for a football game, a soccer game, football, whatever you want to call it.
Is that what that was?
Yeah, but it's an RPG soccer game. So it has RPG elements in it. It has anime elements in it. So it's a bit of Mario Strikers meets FIFA meets Pro Evolution Soccer, you know, with everything. Even the fake names from Pro Evolution Soccer are in the game, and
Nice.
I'm also loving that. It was only 14 euros on the sale. And what else have? Yeah, Godfall's fun. Miss Joy in the Dark. I'm loving it. It's a lot of bling bling, by the way.
Yeah.
That game is shiny as fuck. Everything.
Well, Godfall.
You know, the crystals. Yeah,
Yeah.
Godfall, yeah. And what else have I been playing? That's about it, I think.
Nice.
Oh, I tried that Total Warhammer game on PC Gamepass, Xbox.
Oh, yeah,
you know. But oh man, that's hard. That's tough. I started with a battle. I was like, you know, this is a bit like Age of Empires or the Settlers or you know the old strategy games.
Yeah.
And apparently one of my units was the queen, which I was okay. So she must be OP, so I can use her to freeze all the other enemies. But then she died like in 30 seconds. that was my game over. Elsa was dead, so well, game over. But you know, I've been trying some stuff, and it's fun, you know. So
Yeah. No, it's good. You know, it is actually, as much as we give Godfall a lot of shit when it came out, and it's obviously it didn't review well. People didn't really like it either. But it
is that?
good.
Oh, okay.
It's good to hear that you are enjoying it, because of course it's a very Marmite game by the sounds of things. People either hated that game or they enjoyed it. There is no in between. There was not like a
okay. It has a bit, you know, it's a bit like Destiny in third person with swords, and I learned that the spear is called a pole arm apparently in the game.
Yeah.
But you know, I like it a lot, and the combat is a bit like Rise Son of Rome. You know,
Yeah.
I'm actually enjoying it. So
Good to hear. Good to hear.
yeah.
I think the biggest issue with it is because they tried to claim that it was only able to run on PlayStation 5. It was impossible to run on other systems. That's where the stick comes from.
Yeah.
And then you find out that it's actually on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One as well. So
Yeah.
So
I think
is it
Digital
was one of the
Foundry did
SSD games then?
Yeah.
That?
Digital
Okay.
Foundry did a thing on it, I think, as well, saying that PlayStation fans had been robbed for paying 70 quid because the Xbox version was much better.
Yeah.
Oh really?
Well, I mean, to be fair on it, it's been a year. Is it a year?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think one of the issues mainly
At least
with
6 months, hasn't it? So
Yeah. One of the
On
issues that I've
Xbox?
seen on
no,
it,
it's been over a year. It came
It's
out
been a
at the end
year.
of- Yeah.
yeah.
mainly
Yeah, on
with
PlayStation
the-
or on Xbox, because
It was the
on Xbox it's not that long, right?
Yeah, on Xbox
No.
it's like the best version that you can get for the game, which is great to hear.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I bought the Ultimate Edition.
Yeah, which has got everything. Which
But
is
to
good.
be fair, they've had, like
A
Mike
year.
was saying, a year to iron everything out.
Improve on it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You see it with some PlayStation games when there's a year exclusivity or 6 months exclusivity on Xbox, and then the version that comes out is not better but more polished because they've had that extra time.
Exactly. Well, that's what we're expecting from Deathloop as well when that comes across, and of course, Ghostwire Tokyo when that comes across. We're gonna get extended, enhanced versions, etc. But it's the reason it looks and performs better on Xbox as well. Of course, they've had the additional time, but also the HDR is far better, and the kind of color gradients are far better on the Xbox version for some reason. I don't know why that is, but it looks really blown out on the PlayStation, like really
Probably.
white.
Was that
due
not
to
when
the-
they were using the Dolby?
I think it might have been. It
HDR.
might have been an HDR10 versus the Dolby Vision comparison.
Yeah.
And they were showing
I don't like that. I don't like that Dolby Vision. It doesn't seem to work on any game for me.
I think your TV needs to have it, Mike.
Yeah.
I've got an LG C1. Trust me, it's got it. Just
Shots fired.
always looks washed out. So
I think it does take a little bit of configuring to get things right on that as well. To be fair, I've seen a lot of people kind of showing different settings and things specifically for Dolby Vision TVs to get the color gradients right on Dolby Vision. It does take a bit
Try
of
turning it
faffing
off and
around.
on again.
But yes, before I continue with the next introductions, another shout out to ABay32 there for becoming a channel member. Thank you, sir. I hope you do enjoy the show. Of course, first time viewing, so enjoy it. Next up, the General C. We introduced you the other night to a nice full crew of Sea of Thieves and how hectic it can be. How are you doing and what you been up to?
I'm doing good. Yep, Sea of Thieves is a blast. I've never really got into it properly. I played it a few times, but never seriously. And yesterday we played a healthy chunk of it, and it was very hectic.
Yes.
I'm surprised I didn't have nightmares because Mick kept shouting bells when
Hail patch the holes!
Hail that!
thinking.
That.
Yeah, that was a blast. Also been streaming a lot myself. Monday I've been streaming Black Mesa. That's going to be every Monday. And
Cosplaying.
Yep, I've been playing Hunt Showdown dressed as a cowboy.
Yes. I'm dressed as a pirate for Sea of Thieves streams.
Oh yeah, I'm planning on getting some just cheap costumes and just wearing stupid costumes and having fun with streaming. Because that's what it's about, just being an idiot having fun. So
yeah, I loved it with the poncho and the cowboy hat. I loved you.
It's good fun.
Looked so funny Sunday on the show, yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty much what I've been doing. I've just been streaming and having a good time, not taking myself too seriously. What's the point in taking yourself too seriously? Life's too short to be worrying what others are thinking about you. So just enjoy life, have fun.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. Next up, Xbox Mick. How are you doing today, brother? What you been up to?
Good, man. Yeah, no, I back at work this week, so always difficult, isn't it? First few days back at work after having a week off, but not a lot really. Just playing some Sea of Thieves. That's about it, really, at the moment. I'm waiting for that Trek to Yomi.
Yes.
Waiting for that to come out next week. Yeah, that's about my next sort of thing on my radar. So yeah, we're giving that a try.
Radar.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Radar.
Very nice. Last but not least, Shambhalan. How are you doing today, brother? What you been up to?
I've not been up to much really. Working. I've got a horrible schedule for next week. I'm working 7 days. So I've got tomorrow and Friday off, and then I'm in Saturday to Friday.
Oh, lovely.
Which is a bit of a ball ache.
Saturday till Friday?
Uh-huh.
So
I do 7 days before my next day off. which is fun. But I've been playing my PlayStation actually. I've been getting into.
Did you feel a bit cold?
A bit of a break from the Xbox.
Were you feeling a bit cold?
A little bit, yeah. A little bit. It's still ridiculously noisy. I bought Last of Us 2 on sale for like 16 or 17 quid.
Yeah.
I'm pacing myself through that. I don't want to burn through it all in a couple of sittings. So I played a bit of that. Then I jumped back onto Uncharted 2, which I need to finish. And then I was just browsing Twitter, and then somebody put a post up about God of War. So it's like, you know what, let's get God of War done. So I've been playing God of War as well. That's been pretty much with a little bit of Fortnite here and there, but when I've had time to play, I've been playing the PlayStation really.
Nice. Yeah, to be honest, I'm a bit of a I'm a bit one of them as well. I've got a lot of half-finished PlayStation games that I need to go back and finish. I need to finish Uncharted 4. I still haven't finished that. I need to finish The Last of Us 2. I still haven't completely finished that. What else? And Ghost of Tsushima. I do actually really want to go and finish that because that was a great game, but I haven't played through it yet.
Yeah, that has lots of positive reviews.
Yeah, it is. I would recommend picking Ghost of Tsushima up, actually, Vin. If you haven't already, definitely get it. You'd love that.
Well, I'm waiting for that that PlayStation tier, thing. To see what games are on that what's it called? You have PlayStation Plus and then the second one, the middle one.
Oh, right, yeah.
Is that PlayStation Plus Extra or something?
Premium.
Plus? I don't know.
Yeah.
Premium, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check what games are on there because I saw that Death Stranding is on it.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna upgrade to the middle tiers, you know, so that some games I'm in doubt of buying, I can get through the service then. So
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. There is there is a lot of great games, and that's the thing. It's I mean, I don't know whether or not we'll cover this. We might speak about it, but of course, having I'll talk about it very briefly now. Paying for demos is not the same as getting them free. Yes, you need.
It's not even paying; it's forcing the devs to do it.
Yeah, force if your game's worth more than £37, you have to make a demo for your game.
$32.
$32. If it's worth more than $32,
$32. But I think somebody said something about tax, so that ends up working out as $50. Whatever this person said ends up being a $50 game.
oh,
That's,
You need to have a.
Isn't that every game these days?
yeah.
That's pretty much most games, other than small indies, really.
Yeah. And you know what it is? It's a bit strange. Like, it would make sense if they built them in the same manner that EA does, where it's just a countdown timer, where essentially you download the full game, but it stops you playing after a certain amount of time. But if they're making them specifically make a demo that is entirely separate from the actual full game, that sounds like a lot of wasted resources for developers.
No.
Yeah.
No, I can imagine it'll just be a lock-off timer. That'll be so much more easier, especially if it's a case of that they get to carry their progression through.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hopefully. And I think that is the case, isn't it? It is carrying progression through. They're still going to have to put the mechanic in the games in the first place that does that, which is still extra resources that probably could have been spared, but...
and they're probably going to lose money.
Yeah. And it could be the case that people try some of these games and don't buy it. It could go negatively against them. The thing about... And this is why we're talking about Gamepass, is the fact that all of these games essentially are demos and games, because you can play for an hour. If you don't like it, uninstall it. Like, as simple as that. But I think eventually...
Yeah, but is it like a real demo, or is it more like, you know...
It's like the EA
like in Game
trials.
Pass,
It's like
you also have
We don't
Grounded,
know.
right?
They're
Game
not
preview
telling
games?
us.
Yeah,
They're not
game
telling us.
previews.
Yeah.
Yeah, also the game previews in Game Pass, right? Is it more like that, or is it like actually a demo?
No, it's more
No,
like...
a game preview is before it's even out.
Yeah.
It's-
So what this is essentially what
Game
they're
preview
looking
is
to
basically
do.
early access.
Yeah, it's like EA Access's version of game trials. So do you know when you can get you can play FIFA for like 10 hours before it goes live?
Oh, yeah.
It's like that, and then it stops you playing after 10 hours.
Oh, right, okay.
Okay.
So that's the demo that they've got. But of course, it's
Yeah, like it's more like trial than demo then, actually. Yeah.
yeah. Well, it's good. There's a bit from Scott
Yeah.
actually in the chat. So shout out to Scott. He said, not sure if you've seen, but apparently it's being handled by the in-house PlayStation team, so no additional work for the actual developers. I'll put that on screen as well there.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's a positive. If it was
That's
taking,
positive,
if it was making the devs put in extra work to do that, then that didn't make sense. If it's PlayStation in-house handling it, much like Xbox handle a lot of the backwards compatibility stuff, in fact all of it, it doesn't require work from the developers, and that's good news.
But still, it's not pro dev
pro consumer
considering
charge
the
them for it,
rabbits. It's not good. Yeah, well, in a way, it's not, because that's one of the main draws for the top tier thing.
Yeah.
It is in a way that it gives you an opportunity to try a game before buying. But considering all the rabbits are the ones going on about being pro dev and it, being on Game Pass isn't good for the developer, and then you're giving them a free thing where they can go, you know what, I don't want this.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's the devs are gonna be losing out. And I know it isn't. It's, well, who do you side with? Do you side with my wallet, or do I side with the dev? It's always going to be your wallet, but my wallet's then coughing up to actually try it in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what it is? It's the thing is much like myself and Sean and Vin 9 times out of 10, not all the time, because you still get multi-plats on PlayStation. And a few others we very much get PlayStation for PlayStation.
It's only
exclusive.
one game. only one game. Rest is all on Xbox.
Yeah.
Only Elden Ring. That's the only one.
Elden Ring, exactly.
Yeah.
But the vast majority of the time, we just buy PlayStation exclusives on PlayStation. We don't buy multi-packs. So that's what it's there for. So, the
Pretty much me too with PlayStation. Only use it for exclusives.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, so for us, the service doesn't really make much sense because we're just going to go out and buy the exclusives that we want to play. And when the others go on sale, we'll get them as well. That's literally the only reason we have the console for. So until there's some kind of benefit to joining the service for exclusives that we haven't played, which is very few and far between, like Vin said, he hasn't played Ghost of Tsushima or Death Stranding, so he's hoping they're in the service. Yep. Whereas myself and Sham have played Ghosts, we've played Death Stranding, we've played...
I've not played Ghosts yet.
Yeah, have you not played Ghost yet? You got it?
No. No. I is po white folk. I would wait for the sale. But I wouldn't be expecting any of those games. Well, maybe you might get Death Stranding. I don't think you'll get Ghost of Tsushima for a while. I mean, if you look at PS Now, how long has it taken to get any decent game in there? And when they're in there for like 3 months, 2 months, something like that.
Yeah, it did.
And that's even. I mean,
they launched with the PlayStation Collection for PlayStation 5, but that included God of War, which was out like 2-3 years before. So it was like.
Well, that's it. I mean,
most people have this.
Tsushima's not been. Ghost of Tsushima's not been in PS Now.
Yeah.
Last of Us 2 was in there after a year and a quarter, I think, but only for 3 months. Spider-Man was in there for 3 months after being out for a year and a half, and then they took it out.
Yeah.
And I don't, unless they say otherwise, that's exactly what I'm expecting from this new version, which is complete utter garbage. Like a year and a half, year and a quarter, and you're just kind of going, here you go, here, have it for a bit. Okay, plebs, we're taking our stuff back. If you want it, you're
taking my ball home.
Yeah, I mean, I was really pissed off because I got PS Now for Spider-Man. I didn't know that there was a thingy on it, and I'd only just seen that it'd been out it just come out, and it was like 2 months into it. And I was like, I've got plenty of time, so I managed to get like 3/4 of the way through it, loaded it up, and I was like, well, why is it locked? And I looked online, and it was just like, oh, that'll be why for 3 months.
It's
just.
If you then want to buy it after that, if you have like what you say, you have 3/4 of the game played and you want to buy it, is it the same like Gamepass that you get a discount when you buy it, or is it just full price?
I don't believe you get a discount. The chat might be able to correct me. I don't think you do. I'm not sure. I don't use the service enough.
Okay.
I think they mentioned the new one. I think they mentioned the new one that they're rolling out in June for us, or earlier for the US. There will be discounts on games, but I don't know to what degree.
No, are they discounts as in like you get with Xbox and
Gamepass.
PlayStation Plus? Yeah, you get those exclusive. Or are they discounts for the games that are leaving? Because we get discounts for games that are leaving, like 20%.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see because they still haven't confirmed everything. To be honest, they've just kind of said it's going live this date. We'll have more news close to the time.
This is what I find really odd. It's out in what, 6 weeks?
Yeah.
It gets launched, something like that. And people are still like, well, what they're going to do with this, what they're going to do with that. And it's just like, it's 6 weeks away. Be more flipping transparent. Tell us what's going on.
Or what Des in chat said, just go to CAX and then buy it secondhand.
I mean, you'd think they would be advertising it more by now, considering it's not that far away.
You would think so, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, I booted up my PlayStation 4 not yesterday, the day before, and you'd expect them to show it on their own console. The rebranding's coming soon.
Yeah.
But I've not seen nothing on there.
I said people don't know about, what's going to happen because they've got like 2 years, subscription into one or the other. They don't know how that's going to get divvied up or whether it is at all. I've seen some people going on about that they can pay the difference for stuff. But I don't know whether that's upgrading. If you're going from like the bottom tier to the top tier 1 month, and rather than subbing again, you just pay the difference. I'm not 100% sure.
I think I would imagine you just pay the difference if it's a mid if, for instance, you've already subscribed to a point and then it's mid, I would just imagine they'd take the difference off you as opposed to charging you the full amount. But you never know.
Yeah.
You never know. We could end up getting a full charge for a whole another month on top of that.
If you see what Miss Joanna Dark says, PS Plus only gives you extra discount if the sale is already going on, so not outside of the sale.
All right, so you get the PS Plus sale discount
Yeah.
like you do with Gamepass and Xbox Live sales.
And even then, you know what I find really frustrating about the PlayStation Store, and I don't know whether or not it's any different on PlayStation 5, but the PS Store on PS4 Pro, for instance, when you go into the PlayStation Collection or the Exclusives Collection that they've got, which is like a little storefront just for their games, the vast majority of their games aren't in there. Like, they've only got about half of the games that they have in that storefront, which is really odd. So sometimes it takes quite a bit to try and locate some of the games. And
they're
Death
liars
Stranding's
as well
never
with
been
their
on sale.
Uncharted.
Yeah, I was like, as I saw it in the thing, Uncharted under the PlayStation Hits, and I was like, oh, I remember starting that, and I only got about an hour in, and then I can't remember whatever reason I'd rented it, and I think something else was coming out, so I kind of, when you had the renting through the post.
Yeah.
I was like, right, I better get that back to make sure I get this one on day one. Yeah, it was Boomerang. That's exactly what it was. It was Boomerang. So I posted it back, and then I saw it in the hits on the flyer on the front page. I was like, oh, I wonder how much that is, because that was only a cheap game anyway.
Yeah.
And if it's a hits thing, it's going to be bigger discount. So I looked, and it's not there. It doesn't exist. I think it used to be there. But because they brought out that Uncharted 4 and thingy, Lost
the
collection, they removed it. I think that's what they've done.
See, that bugs me about Microsoft, though, that you go into the store and it'll show you things like the Halo console and all these other things that were in the store, and they're never coming back, but they never take them away from the store.
Yeah.
You just remove
sold
that.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bugs me when they do that.
Yeah, but the PlayStation Collection thing on that store, it's never got all of, like, the vast majority of the games that they have on in there. And it makes no sense. It's like, please just put your games in that. It's so easy. Like, that's all I want to do is see whether or not the PlayStation games have a sale on or not. I'm not on here to buy Call of Duty at 30% off. Like, I don't care about that. Like, stop forcing that down my throat. It just shows what your games are and whether or not your games have a discount on. But they never do. It's impossible to find.
Yes, Finn.
Do you know that even counts back to the 360 days? A couple months back, I played Phantasy Star Universe, and there's an DLC package available. It says, but if you go to the store, it says it hasn't been available since 2009.
Mm-hmm.
So it's still on the store 13 years later, but it's currently unavailable.
That's the same with the orange box. It shows up in the store, but it says it's currently unavailable.
Yeah, currently unavailable forever.
Yeah, there's quite a few games you'll come across like that.
Yeah.
It's so weird. Just remove it from the store. Damn.
At least remove the visibility, because people own those games, and some of them, like Orange Box, are backwards compatible.
Yeah.
So if it's not longer available, but it's backwards compatible, just take it like the visibility away, so that you can't see it.
Just hide it.
For those who don't own it.
Unless you own it, hide it.
Yeah.
But
I think we're using common sense again, aren't we?
I know.
We have so many great ideas here.
Speaking of Sony,
common sense has no place in the modern world anymore.
Speaking of Sony and PlayStation, God of War Ragnarok. It's the age-old debate: is it coming in 2022? It's hard to really understand whether or not it is. I still. I'm probably about 80-20 at this point as to not coming. 20% it might. The reason I say that is you've got a little bit mixed messaging. So you've got a design director that says it's coming in 2022, but then you've got the studio head Cory Barlog who's not saying that to any extent. He's kind of just saying we're working on it. When it's ready to show, we'll show it. That to me doesn't particularly sound like it is in a position where they want to show that game yet, and it doesn't allude to that it might be ready at some point this year. it could prove, and I'd love for it to be. I mentioned this the other night on Boom Show as well. The one thing that I've got, the only concern that I've got, is I don't want it to release and have the issues that I've got, specifically being a cross-gen game, have the issues that I've got with Horizon Forbidden West, where I've got a lot of LOD pop in, a lot of hitches, a lot of stutters, and things like that when I'm traversing the world. That's what I don't want. I don't want it to come out and it be put out for the sake of putting out and getting out on time. Now, of course, the devs don't intend for that to happen. They want to release a really great product. But when you are scheduled to a timeline and you want to get something out, and specifically in Sony's case, they have their two biggest releases left to come this year, and of course, they might have a few others as well that we haven't seen yet, are Forspoken and God of War. So when you come into the holiday season, you have one really big competitor from the opposite side, and that's Starfield. Now, as much as people like to say, you haven't seen anything of Starfield, how can you be excited? What we have seen is decades of Bethesda games. We know how they work, we know how they are, we know what they're capable of, we know how great worlds that they can build, the stories that they can tell, and how many hours people have put into games like Skyrim, for instance, which decades later is still being played. So we know.
See, but you're thinking like a sensible person there, Dutch. There's a lot of people out there that don't think like that.
Common sense again.
So whether they like it or not, Starfield coming out and in the fall, and God of War
11/11/22.
11/11, yep, 11/11/22 coming out then, and God of War also scheduled to come out this year, whenever that may be. That's essentially going to be the holiday showdown. As Scott mentioned in the chat there previously, the last showing for Forspoken is it didn't look good. It looked, in his words, dreadful, which is fair. It didn't look polished. It certainly needed a lot more work before it came out. I think it had a delay due to that. I don't know whether or not it was an official delay because I don't think there was a set date announced for Forspoken yet, but I know internally there was kind of a pushback on when they actually put that out.
There was a release date.
There was a delay.
There was a release date for May 2022.
So they did push it back, didn't they?
Yeah.
So
because that's why I bought the PlayStation 5 for it.
Yeah, you bought it for that, exactly. So it's rely on a Square Enix title holding up against Starfield for the fall, for the holiday period, or push out God of War, which could have issues if, and again going by Horizon Forbidden West, which has issues on both PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. And it's not just one person. Multiple people I've spoken to who've played the game have just put it down for the moment until they've got a few more patches out on it and fix some of the performance issues. So to me, I don't think God of War, in my view anyway, from what Corey's been saying and the way he said it, I don't think it's coming out this year. I think they could attempt to try and get it into this window, and I think Corey will do his best to fit it in this year. But I think if it isn't in the position that Corey wants it to be, and I say this because I know Corey's very, very dedicated. He's a really great studio head. He's a great director. But I very much know that Corey also wants the product that he puts out to be as good as it can be. And playing God of War 1, the reboot that he put out, I had zero performance issues, zero graphical issues all the way through that game. It was in a perfect state to release. And that's as much as you can hope for when the game releases. But I don't think he would be keen on releasing the game if it's not in the same state. If it isn't as good as, in a performance state, as the previous one that launched, I don't think he will. So I think if it comes to cut the mustard really, and at the end of the day, coming into maybe the late fall area, and he's thinking, I don't want to release this yet. It's not quite up to scratch. I don't think he'd push that out. I think he'd move that. So, I mean, obviously everybody else might have different ideas. Sean, I want to get your ideas on this first. Do you think God of War Ragnarok is coming in 2022?
I do,
Yep.
but if we don't see anything by early to mid-August, then there's no way it's coming out.
Yeah.
Just purely because if it's not going to hit the deadline for the Game Awards, they won't bring it out.
Yes.
Exactly.
Which is what, the end of October?
And they've also got They've also got to consider the fact that, and it sounds so strange to be saying this, but Elden Ring has literally got 95, 96 on Metacritic. Like, the Game Awards heavily favour those who perform very well. Of course, we know with Forza Horizon it wasn't brought up in those discussions. We've had that before. But Elden Ring has literally across the board been extremely successful. We're talking about the amount of people that have played and purchased that game. 20 million in the opening couple of weeks, which was insane. We're talking about heavily positive review scores across the board. Sony want to be in a position where they're almost guaranteed to be in that Game of the Year discussion. Do you think that's potentially another thing that they might look to maneuver?
Yeah, definitely. Sony always play into what the perception of their games are. They want that Game of the Year award tagged to it, the same as they always want the the sales reports in America. What are they called?
MPD.
MPDs.
MPDs, yeah. They always want to be seen as winning the MPDs. It doesn't matter if they win by 2 units. It's we won MPD, we won Game of the Year. I think if they think that it's whatever they put out is not gonna win, they may be tempted. Now, obviously, if there's a game coming out in like April, May, June, then they'll put the game out. But if it's going to be close, then they might just kind of go, you know what, let's just hold back. Give you a bit more polished time, make sure everything's thingy. But I think it will. I think it will probably get in there. I reckon there'll be a maybe late September, early October release.
Yeah.
But like I said before, if we haven't seen anything or heard anything by August, then I don't think it's coming out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Mick, I seen you smiling whilst I was talking about it there as well. What's your thoughts on it? Go on.
I don't think and never did think it was coming out in, was it 21 when it first said it was coming out, and it got pushed to 22, and I thought it's never coming out in 21.
You know where
it might come out in 22.
21 was intentional to sell units for the console.
Definitely.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was a proper snide tactic.
There was never coming out in 21.
No.
And 22 was more likely, but I've always thought 23. And like you said, they want that Game of the Year title. And if they think there's any chance that something like Starfield is going to dominate that section, my thoughts are, why even try putting it out and trying to get the mindshare after they've just had Horizon totally wiped off the face of the social media planet by Elden Ring?
Yeah.
Why try and do the same thing again and compete with Starfield when you could just wait a bit longer, put it out in that period at the beginning of the year that they like to do, and put it out at the beginning of 23. So my money's on early 23.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they'll even want
if it doesn't come out before, I'm thinking like a February.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. And you know what it is? We've got to think that video that they released was literally like late last week, saying it's not ready to show yet. We're only a month off what would technically be E3 territory. And if it's not ready to show now, is it going to be
not
ready
much
to
is
show
going to change?
No.
Yep.
Well, it depends on when they've got a show, because we know that they're not going to be at what would have been E3.
Yeah.
Last year they weren't even doing their own thing during that time period. So it might not be ready now, but there could be a show in early August that it is ready for.
Yeah. Yeah,
So that would still give
I
them
think
two.
if you
depends
don't
on when
get,
they do their event.
I think if you don't get an announcement of the date around that, I think they might show something.
Yeah.
But I bet they still don't put a date on it.
If there's no date, it's not coming out.
Yeah.
If they just
I
put
think they want to keep reminding people about it, but I'm not sure they'll give a date.
I was going to say, if they just put a loose period again, like fall 22, then that's not coming out. That's subject.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a classic move that the games industry's been using since as long as I can remember.
That's why everyone was quite surprised that Starfield announced an exact date on theirs as well when they put 11/11/22. I think quite a few people were surprised that they give the exact date of release, because again, that's essentially saying we will hit that target. We're definitely releasing that game on that date. And like you say, it's a crutch most of the time. Them just going 22 or fall 22, summer 22. We know with Redfall that was scheduled summer 22. Have we seen anything else of that yet? No. I do expect to see that in the showcase. See the gameplay, see the release date, etc. Great. But when, we don't know yet. But the fact that God of War has just had 22 as the schedule and no set period within 22 and still nothing, to me alludes more to the fact that I don't think it is releasing again this year. But
I think Starfield are able to give you a date so late, or I mean so early, is because I think it's ready to play. I think they could ship it tomorrow if they wanted, but they were given a year's extra polish for whatever reason.
How long is it in development?
I think Starfield was supposed to come out last year, but I think
I think that.
they held off.
Sony were known to be in talks to try and get Starfield as an exclusive game for PlayStation, and it fell apart because, well, they didn't know the reason. And the guy that was in charge of that negotiation when the Bethesda announcement went out tweeted, "Oh, that's what happened."
Yeah.
So the penny dropped, and they realised why that hadn't happened.
So did they just suddenly back out?
They were very hesitant, and all that apparently it was going well, and then it just kind of fizzled out, and there was a bit of there was a bit of delaying and a bit of shuffling around, and not really sure what was happening. And then the next minute they just said, "No, we're not going to do it anymore." And he never knew why, and he posted that on a tweet saying that was unusual, and he couldn't figure out whatever happened. And then he tagged that tweet that he'd posted when the Bethesda announcement came out and said, that's what happened.
Yeah.
Now I know. Now I understand.
I want to say to Scott
that game, I think, like Sean just said, that game was ready. Yeah. That game should have been out last year, but because of what was happening, I think they all said, just leave it, and we'll
take an extra year to polish it.
Put it back a bit, take some more time, polish it up, and then we'll hit it the year after. So yeah, I think you're right.
Then he gets his little funky numbers that he always likes as well for releasing games.
I was going to say that Scott made a good point. Early 2023 moves into Breath of the Wild 2 territory. It does, and we know how Nintendo's big releases go down with reviewers, especially Breath of the Wild. That could potentially be Game of the Year damaging as well to God of War. So it'll be a good.
I don't think so. I think God of War would be bigger chance of getting Game of the Year than Breath of the Wild 2. Breath of the Wild 2 went up against Horizon Zero Dawn. That's why it won. Because although Horizon Zero Dawn is a very good game in my opinion, I mean, I've not played Breath of the Wild, but I've heard that's a very good, it's a Nintendo game, isn't it? You're going to get the fanboys.
Yeah.
But I think when you're talking about Breath of the Wild versus God of War, I think God of War is going to be a more popular choice for those that vote.
Yeah.
Because it's God of War.
Yeah. Well, you never know, because Breath of the Wild, of course, won a lot of awards when that kind of came out. Did that not win Game of the Year? Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, I think so.
So it's gonna be a tough head-to-head, that one, to be fair, a very tough head-to-head, and we don't expect. What it is? I don't expect Starfield to win Game of the Year against Elden Ring this year. But I do expect.
No, I don't.
I do expect a tremendous game, regardless. I think it's going to be really good. And I'm just excited to see more of the world and more of what it's about, and some of the concept art and everything that goes along with Starfield is just tremendous. It looks absolutely beautiful.
I think Vin's trying to get his first timeout on his phone or something.
Try.
No. This is my remote. Look, I'm changing the color of the light to check what's the best.
Yeah, but when you've got a big Sega sign in the background, it doesn't make any difference.
Well, look, it's the lightning. Look. I can use multiple colors. I'm just trying it out.
So it's just a slightly different shade of white for each one.
Just a slightly different shade of Vin.
Yeah.
50 Shades of Vin.
50 Shades of Vin.
Oh, I'm never ever reading that book.
Nope.
It'll be about VR, but not the kind of VR you would expect.
Then I have good news for you, Mick. I'm filming it for you. Yeah.
Private
No,
screen,
like
you've
the-
got, yeah.
Netflix exclusive.
No,
We have
Amazon Prime.
Oh,
I have-
right.
It'll be a surprise of Arcadia
Big
fan fiction.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Or Scalebound.
Dear me.
Oh,
Jen,
I haven't said that yet, but Mr. Joanna Dark thinks I'm getting more timeouts than Louis, and Louis only had 2 last time, so I'm trying
trying your best.
to stay below Louis.
Vin. Not Vin, sorry,
Yeah?
Jen, first of all. Jen, what do you
Oh,
make
well,
of...
thank you.
You're welcome. What do you make of this? Do you think God of War's coming out this year? Do you think it's going to get pushed to next? What's your thoughts?
I said this on one of the weekend shows. I don't see God of War coming this year, personally.
Yeah.
Especially with the likes of Elden Ring, how well that game has done. That game, in my opinion, has probably sealed it for Game of the Year.
Yeah.
So I
Makes it
expect
boring,
God of
yeah,
War...
doesn't it?
With God of War being, as some are saying, DLC, and it's not going to be changed much from what we've seen,
Yeah.
I personally don't think that'll come out this year for that reason, because it won't win Game of the Year with
With Elden Ring, which is...
the lack thereof of changes that are probably not in the game.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a leap forward.
If you have Hellblade 2 and Fable next year, it still doesn't stand a chance.
I don't think Fable's coming
See,
next year.
no, I
No, I
don't.
don't think they
Sadly,
will. But that would be
They
an
want it.
interesting. That'd be an interesting conversation next year if Hellblade 2 did come.
Yeah.
God of War versus Hellblade.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Personally, I see God of War coming either March or April, maybe even May.
Yeah.
Or do you think it's going to be up to a year away?
No, just
Yeah,
like
that's a year, yeah.
early sort of next year.
Yeah, that's a year
Well,
away.
we're in April
We're
now,
in
so
April
April
now,
next year is a year.
So I think it'll come out either April or May. Personally, I think that'll them announcing it for that time will be perfect for them, because if they announce it very soon that it's coming early next year or mid next year, other games will stay out of its path.
Yeah,
I don't think so, man. I don't think that there's you can do that at this moment. Microsoft bought so many studios. Nintendo is doing their own thing.
Yeah, but like,
I don't think there is a time slot where you can say, okay, if you launch it now, it's Game of the Year. It's not possible anymore with everything that's coming out. It's not possible.
yeah, but we know what Sony are like. They love their Game of the Year titles. They live for Metacritic.
Yeah, of course, but there's too many. There's too much competition now.
I don't think you can
A lot of
necessarily
indies
say
as well.
that there is a lot of indies, but I don't think you can necessarily say, well, Microsoft bought all these studios, therefore Sony no longer have, well, I wouldn't say it's their right, but they do have a little bit of a monopoly on the Game of the Year.
Yeah,
When's the last time an
Because what-
Activision game actually won Game of the Year?
Exactly, that's what I'm going to say. Even with Bethesda, when was their last one? It was, Skyrim?
Yeah, I think so.
So maybe you could argue now they've got money as the backing, they can do more, than that could pump up the quality of their games and what the scope of their games. But at the moment, Sony still produce Game of the Year quality games on a regular basis. Now, I'm not saying that every single one is like you'll get people argue like every single one's a banger.
Yeah.
I'm not that delusional, but they've got a track record. You can't ignore that. You can't suddenly kind of go, oh well, now they bought these studios, then Sony studios don't stand a chance. That's dumb.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see that with a bit more backing, you've got a bit more imagination. They can hire more creative people, unless they're going to the initiative when they leave. So we'll see. But I think it's going to be exciting. I don't care about Game of the Year, but I want Microsoft to be in the conversation.
Yeah,
that's why I don't think God of War will come this year, because Sony live for the Game of the Years.
Yeah,
and Elden Ring is, in my personal opinion, I've not played it, but I know it's done well. I know that as the game's still selling great now, likely going to be Game of the Year, unless Starfield comes out and is bigger.
Yeah.
Then Starfield will likely be Game of the Year. And I don't see Sony.
Holy shit moment.
I don't see Sony playing with that. I think they're going to try and avoid that until maybe next year, when they kind of got no choice but to put God of War out.
You know what it is? I think as you mentioned there, I think the difference between Elden Ring and God of War, and that's a good point as well, is God of War, and it isn't a slight, because God of War 2018 is a brilliant game, and again,
brilliant game. I love the game.
It was my game of the year at the time. I platinumed it. I loved it. Played it several times over now. The thing about it, though, is that going into God of War Ragnarok, it is much of the same. There isn't anything that they've done that's transformative compared to 2018's God of War.
Elden exactly. Ring, like from the trailer, we saw it looks the same. Well, much the same what we already got. That's not a bad thing. It's going to be a great game. But when it comes to terms of critics and people voting for Game of the Year, it's not really a huge leap, is it?
Yeah, and that's
as where Elden Ring is.
Exactly. Elden Ring is a massive change in what the standard Souls game was, because of course Souls games were usually these corridor hack and slash fighting games that were obviously Souls games, but they were very confined in the space in which you could maneuver. They had little hub sections, but they weren't large. So to actually change and create this monumental open world, this huge open world that is, for instance, everlasting. I mean, I've seen people playing 200 plus hours and they're still finding new areas. It's a case of, do we want to go against something that is dramatically changed its original concept in its game to stand out to a wider audience, versus a game that is pretty much of the same as the previous one, which was critically acclaimed, won Game of the Year's times over, was great, but is essentially the same game but story continued and not doing anything mechanically different. That's not going to win you a Game of the Year. The story might be great, but versus something that's dramatically changed its overall game in order to...
Elden Ring is an evolution of the Souls game, and God of War is continuation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think it's hard to give somebody Game of the Year if it's, there needs to be a progression.
Yeah.
You can't just give it off the back of the last one won it, and therefore this one should.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Vin, what do you think, brother? Do you think it's coming out this year? Do you think it's next year? What's your thoughts?
I'm not really, bothered if it comes out next year or this year. As long as it's a good game, it's a good game. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
I don't think Sony or that studio wants to ruin the franchise by bringing out the game with lots of bugs and shit like that.
Yeah.
And all of you are forgetting one thing.
Well,
nobody mentioned the real game of the year that's coming out this year, Sonic Frontiers.
Yeah.
Is that coming this year though, or could that be delayed?
It could also be delayed. It's planned for October, but it's possible it's getting delayed as well. It's an open world Sonic, so it's probably going to be delayed.
Yeah.
And I mean,
to be fair, that is the first Sonic game that actually I'm interested in.
Yeah, I'm interested in it as well, actually.
And if that does come out and it's good enough, it could contend for the Game of the Year.
It is going to be. I already got the sweater from Sega. That it's already Game of the Year. Look, but but I'm not really bothered by any of it.
Yeah.
I'm one of the few people. I think I spoke with Pong Sol about it. I'm one of the few people who isn't that excited for Starfield yet.
Yeah.
Based on I haven't seen that much. The CGI looks good, but I wasn't really interested in either Fallout or Skyrim or what that type of game.
Yeah,
it's not usually
not for everyone. They're not for everyone.
Exactly. So
but they do appeal to a lot of people,
Yeah,
and they
of
always
course.
sell well.
Of course, but and that's the beauty thing, about all these different games, right? So, I just hope that God of War, I still need to finish the 2018 version. I started it. I killed Dutch at the start. Well, I didn't kill him, but
You can never kill B.
no, I know. So, but, I still need to finish it. But what I played so far was brilliant, and I don't think they should ruin the franchise. Same with Halo. Look what that extra year did.
Yeah.
If the game needs it, give it. That's my thought.
Yeah.
And like Doom Reaper also says, and some other people in chat, you can put it out next year. But if Hellblade is coming, or Fable or whatever, every year you get competition now.
Yeah, and that's a good thing.
So
it's only a good thing for gamers in general because it pushes studios to put out the best because they have competition. Previous generations where Microsoft weren't at their full touch and they weren't putting up a much of a fight, and the games that were coming out were like average. And of course, we all remember the Crackdown malark that we had, where it was year after year after year, delay after delay after delay, promise after promise, and Crackdown come out, and it was a fun game, but it wasn't what was promised, and it wasn't as good as it could be.
You let Crackdown alone. It was great.
Yeah, thank you, Mick. Because I loved it as well, man. I loved the whole Terry Crews thing.
If you liked Crackdown, it was a great game.
Yeah, it was a great game. I agree,
really
Mick.
Yeah. And Terry Crews was just the icing on the cake.
Yeah, man. I loved it. And, I know what people was promised, with the online, what is it, cloud destruction stuff.
Yeah.
But the story and the fun you had in the city, it was just perfect, man. For me, I think it was one of the best games of the Xbox One. So
it was a fun game, but I think the issues it was just such the delay, and the online thing was the letdown because they mentioned it was going to be completely destructible, everything's going to blow up forever, it's going to fall apart and blah blah blah, and that's not what we got.
No, that's true.
I never planned to get the multiplayer bit anyway, so I didn't really care. But yeah.
Well, the reason that fell apart is because the people they were using for the tech were ended up being bought out by Epic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Which is weird because you would have thought, well, it doesn't matter. We've still got a contract with you. Make the bloody game.
That's what is it? Pseudo something? What was it?
Oh, I don't know who the company were.
Yeah, Pseudo something.
No, Sumo Digital were the people that made it.
Sumo Digital. Yeah, Sumo. Yeah, sorry.
They weren't the people that were doing the cloud
online
destruction.
Yeah.
There was a company that does the cloud technology separate to Sumo.
Oh right. But let's not forget, that if you look at the indie show Dutch did last week, I mean, if the level of indies is insane now.
Yeah.
What was that game? The End Day or something? Day End or?
The day before.
Oh man,
Yeah.
How is that an indie? Have you seen the graphics, man? That's insane, man. That even they can compete now for Game of the Year.
Yeah.
I mean, my favorite game was Endless Dungeon, and it's not just because it's Sega, but if you looked at how it looked and the music and stuff, it's fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
And then we have TMNT coming with Shredder's Revenge and the Cowabunga collection.
And to be fair, out of that, one of the favourite ones that we've got coming up and is dropping into Game Pass, which is going to be awesome, is Flintlock Siege of Dawn. Like that game.
Yeah.
That game looks phenomenal.
It does look good.
It does look great.
I had this list with me to to check what games were interesting, and I had like between 30 and 40 games. That is for indies. It's crazy.
Yeah. 100%. Pat, I know you don't have a PlayStation as yet. We'll have to get you a PlayStation at some point. Even if when I get my PlayStation 5, I give you the PlayStation 4. Even though you're not on it, what do you think from what you've seen, from what you've heard, etc.? Do you think God of War's coming out this year?
I don't know, to be honest. I think if they still need to do things, probably it's better to release it later.
Yeah.
So probably next year. And I think that probably Jen is right. Like April, May should be like a date to release the game. But on the other hand, you have all the other games, like you guys said. You have Hellblade, you know. So
potentially.
yeah, probably Fable. So it's I don't know, like what's the best thing to do for them. Yeah, you don't need to like release a game with all the bugs and what you had with Horizon Forbidden West, all the things that you saw. Like they it's better that they release a game that's working good and looking good than like just drop a game and it's like shit again. But yeah, I think I agree with Jen, like he said. So probably April, May will be a good date for them to release the game.
Yeah. Yeah, most definitely. It's a good timing, this
So,
actually, BitCloud.
yeah.
Good timing.
Yeah, no. I actually missed the link. I was like, oh crap, forgot we were live today. Because I just well, I got a big announcement on Monday, but I put the tweet up. I'll take you guys off here.
Nice. But good timing.
Hello, Sega,
anyway.
brother.
God of
What's
War
up?
God of War Ragnarok. Do you think it's coming in 2022?
What was up? What'd you say? I'm sorry.
God of War Ragnarok. Do you think it's coming in 2022?
I hope so. I mean, we got confirmation that they did say the game is still on track for the year, but depends, man. Like, I think September is probably the, if we don't see none by September, then yeah, it's delayed. I don't think it's dropping holiday. I think September is the go date that they really want to do for this game. But again, you never know that they might push it back because did they have anything for next year? I don't think they have anything for next year aside from. Well, I think Spider-Man, right? Spider-Man was 2023. I think they said we're gonna get.
Yeah,
that.
I think they said that they give a window of 20 for Spider-Man.
But they might push it back as a
revive. The Twisted Metal revive is also 2023.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, those are windows, though. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's no guarantee that it is 2023. So there's a possibility they could push it back just to keep things flowing until those studios are ready to drop the official gameplay for it. Because we didn't really see gameplay for Spider-Man 2. We did see like an engine type of display. I mean, we saw snippets, right? I guess you can say as close-ups, but it wasn't really like crazy like the E3 demo that we first saw for gameplay. It wasn't like that where it was really expansive. So it's up in the air at that point, but I think everybody already knows like Wolverine is the main one that people are just really waiting for an update for it too. So it's like they got that close.
You know what it is though with Insomniac, you're pretty much guaranteed a really great game, both in gameplay, in graphics, in the style, etc. So I don't think 2023's out of the. I mean, we've seen how many games they've released to keep this generation going for Sony so far. They've literally knocked it out the park, and hats off to them. Absolute magicians. I expect more of the same from Spider-Man 2. I expect a beautiful game that plays well. Expands on mechanics.
I can't wait.
It's going to be it is a PlayStation 5 only game. We know the will after this year. They very much have to get rid of the cross-gen. I think everyone's agreed on that. No more cross-gen. We've seen what cross-gen can do, and I mentioned Horizon Forbidden West a few times, but it's clearly causing performance issues for cross-gen games. I think they need to ditch it. I think it wouldn't have had those issues had it been PS5 only. And I think
it's like they're afraid to outshine the predecessor, when it's that cross-gen. Like they don't want to really put the extra polish on it, really turn up the graphics. When you look at Spider-Man 2 from what we saw, right, and you compare that to the remaster, I mean it's night and day what they've done. So it's gonna be fun. I can't wait to see it up close finally.
Yeah, I think interestingly you said exactly the same as Shom as well. Shom said, if we don't see anything by August, September, then I don't think it's this year. So, both.
Because that's usually their month is usually around that time, right? I think everybody was kind of betting on September as the month because I wasn't expecting Ragnarok to be super early this year, with all the games that we already had. We had Horizon, we had Gran Turismo, and you had all those other third-party games, right, in the mix. So it was like, they had to find the perfect month to drop this particular game, and right now it's like, was that the right one? Probably not.
Yeah, definitely. And it kind of have this continuation of discussions, and we have discussed it a little bit already. But if it does release this year, then you've got the head-to-head, the mammoth head-to-head of God of War versus Starfield as contenders
Solid
for
Frontiers.
Holiday 2022. Who's going to win that battle? Pat.
What, sales-wise?
Oh, I don't. Across the board, I would say across the board, it's significant. It's a big window. Pat, I want to go to you first of all, brother. If you between the two, if you had to choose, if you had it on both consoles, God of War and Starfield were coming out same time. What would be if you only had 70 to spend on one game? What would you spend that on? Would it be Starfield? Would it be God of War?
Okay, so if I had that at that moment, if I buy a PlayStation, then probably I go for God of War.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like Starfield is probably or is coming on Game Pass.
Yeah.
So you can always try that later. So yeah, if I own a PlayStation at that moment, I'll go for God of War.
Yeah.
Because I never played any of those PlayStation games. That's one of the things that interests me a lot, especially the PlayStation of the Spider-Man games.
Yeah.
Because I really like those. They look really good, and I really want to try one of those games. So yeah, I'll go for if I need to choose.
Nice. Yeah,
I heard a lot of good things for Wolverine. What I heard, Wolverine is gonna, it's gonna change the game. So
I think they've got that scheduled down as mature as well, don't they?
Oh
yeah, that's
you can't have a Wolverine game and it not be mature.
It can't be. The only thing I would be worried about, but granted, I mean, this is like everything. I guess a Wolverine game what I have to run into is the claws cutting through everything type of thing. I don't. I don't expect that. But but there's gonna be those people that try to like run the claws against the walls or something, and see if it cuts through the wall or something. It would be cool to see that, but from what I'm hearing, this is like gonna be really, really insane, like over the top type of.
Do you think it's going to be kind of like with the Metal Gear Rising when that first came out? You could chop everything. You could chop everything. Do you think it's going to be like kind of that kind of that you can just pretty much chop
Fruit
everything?
Ninja.
Fruit Ninja.
I don't think it's going to be like Fruit Ninja, but what I'm getting dark. You ever see? I'm pretty sure all you guys seen Logan.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm getting dark Logan vibes from what they're telling. What I was told.
That'd be cool.
So we're getting like a
that would be nice.
over the top, like Logan dark type of game. And let me tell you, I can't wait. That's all you guys say to me. Logan's one of the greatest superhero films.
Oh, I
yeah, definitely.
So good.
That film.
Yeah. Brilliant movie.
So good. Like I didn't like. Don't get me wrong. I love his X-Men like regular portrayal of him, but I thought they like really nailed him in his own, in his own environment, his own little bubble with Logan, and it just translated. I was like, damn, he looked so good in the role. I was like, oh, dude, I'm surprised he didn't get cast as Joel in this TV series because he looked like Joel.
Yeah.
In the Last of Us. So
yeah, he does. Yeah,
it's I can't wait.
But I think Logan is so good is because it's mature. All the other ones, you couldn't have them ripping people up because it was for like
yeah.
I mean, he's a killer with flipping claws, and then you just he's not
It's like
really
a berserker, isn't he?
Yeah.
He was man, it's so good. And I don't know what they're gonna do with that. I know X-23 was a big star out of that. I don't know if she's gonna if that actress signed on to any other stuff, but from what we're looking at with this Doctor Strange thing, I mean, hey, keep hope alive, I think I saw Charles Xavier in that trailer. So who knows?
Yeah, it's certainly interesting. Vin, if we're going on the head-to-heads here, if you could only have the one for Holiday 2022, and it was God of War versus Starfield, what would be your choice? You mentioned before, the Bethesda games, the Fallouts and the Skyrims never really interested you. So, would it be God of War over Starfield, or would you?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But If the question is like Pat has been asked, then
my
I say
big
Sonic
brother.
Frontiers.
You tell
So,
him.
Sonic
That wasn't an
Frontiers is going to
option.
be.
That was not an
Oh, okay.
option.
No, but out of those two, it's God of War. I prefer that type of game. That's why I wanted the PlayStation next to my Xbox, because I love the story-driven third-person games. Starfield is still, I have no idea what to expect from it.
Yeah.
And like I said, the Bethesda stuff isn't usually my thing.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hurt a lot of people, but I really think I didn't enjoy 1 second of Skyrim or the Elder Scrolls or whatever. Yeah, I don't care, Mick. I don't care. But the only one I enjoyed for a while was Fallout. That's the only thing. The only game out of them that I really, tried and liked for a while, but not too long. So 100% God of War for me.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Awesome stuff. Jen?
But I'm gonna try Starfield because it's in Game Pass, like Pat also said,
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try it, of course, but we'll see what I think about it.
A lot of people said the same thing about Elden Ring, didn't they?
Yeah.
Not their thing. Wasn't interested. Then the hype kicked in, and everyone loved it.
Yeah, and then everybody bought Elden Ring.
Yeah.
But I had the same about Elden Ring, and I bought it and I tried it, but I'm shit at it. I'm just gonna
Me
admit
too.
it. I'm really shit at the game. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I did exactly the same thing. Didn't carry on with it.
You ended up with 2 copies, though, didn't you?
I did it with 3. I had two physical. The launch edition that I thought I'm not opening these. I'm going to keep them. They'll be worth something. So I ended up using my reward points and buying a digital copy as well.
I'm getting time out. I'm getting time out.
Jen, if you had to just choose, if you only could play one and you could choose, which would it be? God of War, Starfield?
If we were taking out the fact that Starfield is coming to Game Pass, and let's just say for this situation, Game Pass don't even exist, and it's either buy God of War or either buy Starfield, I choose Starfield because I know how much, I get lost in those Bethesda worlds, and I'm playing them for hours upon hours, and I always find new things. So,
can you cosplay God of War?
Can I cosplay God of War?
Yeah.
I'd have to shave my head first.
I'll just paint a small section of red on you.
Oh no.
Shave the head a bit more. There we go.
I love those Bethesda games. I love getting lost in those massive open worlds, and that really appeals to me. So I would pick Starfield.
Yeah, Dutch ain't surrendering that beard. You know better. It'll fall apart as soon as he take it off.
His powers would diminish if he shaved it.
What makes you wonder? Makes you wonder, right, BitCloud? What if he did shave it? What remains of WandrinDutch?
He'd look about 12.
If he cut that part of his beard off, and if you cut that off and really put red paint on, he would look like Kratos. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know, man. You can pull it off.
Mick, what about yourself, brother? Same situation that Jen mentioned. If Game Pass didn't exist, you could only play Starfield or God of War. What you choosing?
Well, I've played so many hours of Oblivion and so many hours of Skyrim and so many hours of Fallout 4. Didn't enjoy 3 as much.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Or Vegas. I wasn't really into them then, but yeah, I'd get lost in those worlds. So definitely 100% Starfield.
Time out.
Get out of here. Go take your Sonic and take a walk.
Let's take a run then. Let's take a run.
But yeah, no, definitely
Gotta go fast.
Starfield for me. I can't wait to see what they've done as well, because they say that they've improved a lot of stuff, and this game is basically going to be the test engine for the next Elder Scrolls.
Yeah.
So this is where they're putting all the effort in to improve the engine, get everything up and running, so they can do whatever they want without upsetting people. And then when Elder Scrolls comes out, they'll have honed it down and made it what they want. And and then I'm gone. That's it. I'll be in Elder Scrolls 6 when that happens, and I don't think I want to come out the other side.
How can I make a poll, Drew, on for the chat? How do you do that?
I can make a poll. Do you want the same thing?
No, only Dutch can do it.
Oh, okay,
yeah, definitely not wise giving Vin privileges for that.
Actually,
Why not?
I was going to say, do you not have that ability? I thought you did.
No, only the host. Only the host does.
I'll
Yeah.
make a poll shortly. We'll ask them the same thing.
If it was Vin making the poll, it'd be, what would you use VR for? Games? Porn?
Porn up.
Oh dear me. Shom, same question to you. If you could only choose the one, Gamepass doesn't exist, which you picking?
I would be going down the Starfield road. Just purely, again, for what Mike and General C have said, is just what you get out of it. I mean, especially when you break it down into pounds per minute.
And it's the replayability as well.
Yeah, exactly. You know, you can go down different. What's it called? You could be different people. So you know, you can a bit like my brain. I'm so tired today. I cannot.
Like general on Twitch.
Like Cyberpunk, you can you can choose different starting points, and then you can see where you go from there. You can align yourself with different people, and go with that. I mean, I'll be getting both, to be honest with you. Day one, I'm not missing out on God of War, but for this experiment, I'd be going down my head's gone.
Starfield route.
Starfield, flipping heck. I'm so tired. But getting on to this quickly is I expect it to be almost flawless if they've got this extra year. I know they're very known for being glitchy at launch and fixing it later. With this extra year's polish, I don't want to be seeing game-breaking bugs or falling through worlds or crap like that you've had with the last couple of Fallouts and stuff. So
I would say I would still expect that stuff because of how vast that open world's going to be.